of the Initiate, which is a map to spiritual enlightenment based on indigenous teachings. The question is, I was wondering if you have to complete all the directions in sequence before moving ahead to the next one. The reason I ask is that I know I am clearly in the 6th without having done the 5th, possibly due to the death of my father at age 6, followed by a stepfather that was emotionally abusive. I have a deep-seated fear of rejection that has allowed me to avoid a more passionate love life. At the same time, my mother, who was both physically and mentally ill, has kept me attracting much of the same. The men in my life have thus been the drug addict, the emotionally abuser, and currently the always physically ill. I'm eager to get through the 5th so that I can move ahead to the 7th. My question is, can I complete the 5th by just experiencing the deep passion of love, joy, without the negative emotions of jealousy and anger? First of all, the 7 directions are not a linear progression. They're a shedding of what we are not before we arrive to the immediate, or the pure awareness of what we are. Now, what you're describing here is a justification for an identity. I'm attracting bad relationships in my life because I had an emotionally abusive stepfather, because my mother was ill. You're justifying a position of the ego. For the ego, there'll always be a reason why not. This is the 5th direction. In the 5th direction, we think that these things are magnetically attached to us. But the truth is they're not. The purity of your soul is untouched. Nothing ever happened to the purity of your soul. This is where you need to shift your direction to, your attention to. In the 7th direction, you simply rest in the freedom and clarity of the present moment. There's nothing more to fix. And you can't work your way there, because it's only through the immediacy of this very, very moment. So the question is not whether or not you have to go back to the 5th direction. The question is whether you have the guts to drop it. To drop the one who thinks that they were emotionally abused and attracting bad relationships. Because that can never be fixed. You can spin over and over and over and over, lifetime after lifetime. All these identities are what keeps us from pure awareness. Perhaps it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. But these attachments, these ego-based attachments, are much bigger than the camel, the rich man, and his money combined. So what I'm describing is not something you have to attain, because you already are that. There's nothing to attain. If you think you have to attain something, it's like you're pursuing a projected point that doesn't really exist. You can travel a path for thousands of miles, for thousands of lifetimes, and there'll always be another horizon to reach. But what you already are, in the enlightenment of the 7th direction, you already are. You can never attain it, because you already are that. It's simply a matter of shifting identity.